Yali Mother to all friends, and thank you for joining us today. What a blessed day it is that early in the morning we received the news that Maulana Shah Rahimul Hussaini Hazar Imam have sent the Amar Farman Atalika to open its first Jamatkhana in Dallas area called Lewisville, Texas, and it will open tomorrow. Mubarakbad to all the friends online, and especially those friends who lives in Dallas, and then more especially to those friends who lives in Lewisville area and now will be able to attend this brand new Jamatkhana, the first Jamatkhana approved by the Imam Zaman Shah Rahim al Hussaini Hazar Imam Salawatullah alayhi. It is a very happy occasion. Mubarak to all. May Mola bless the Momineen and the Murid who attend this Jamatkhana. And may Mola always be with the Jamaat. That is our wish and prayers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will start with our second part of the session, Symbolism of the Straight Path. Yesterday, we had talked about the different beliefs and different ways Allah shows different symbols to those who believe and for the intellectual. These different symbols points to single Nur, Hadi, personality, or the Imam. In the end, yesterday, I had received a question regarding the stairs, an example or the symbol of the stairs with the Imam. And the reason I did not answer that yesterday because it is part of our today's session. So those friends who were not present here yesterday, please listen to the recording from yesterday, as this is the second part of their session. So we had left with the Farman Mubarak, and we had talked about, let's see who is on the straight path and who is not. So today, our session will start with this ayat and the understanding, and with two of the Imam's Farman. As we talked about it in this ayat, that keep us on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So our prayers should be what? If we believe, first of all, that we are on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, not that we have lost the path, and not that we are not aware of the Sirat al-Mustaqim, then what should our prayers would be? So our prayers are, guide us on, upon, and along the straight path. We are already on Sirat al-Mustaqim, and Sirat al-Mustaqim is one. Let me take our friends back as far as Adam, as far as Ibrahim, and as far as Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Mullah Ali's time. Allah's path always has been one. Allah's religion is one. Allah's guidance is one. Allah's nur is one. If that is the case, it was always the people, the human, the followers, the believers. At one time or the other, for whatever reason, they left or lost the right path. Otherwise, Allah had, have, and will continue to guide the humanity by His promise on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And our prayer should be, and I love this prayer, Ya Mola, Hamara Iman Akhri Dam Tak Salamat Rakhna. O Mola, keep our faith intact until the last second, until the last minute, until the last hour, until the last day. So guide us on the path that is your path, and as we are on it, guide us upon this path that we have chosen by your Amr, and along the side of those who have been favored by you. On top of that is Aimay Tyreen, Imam Zaman, Hujatan, Pir, Dais, and great Mu'mineen and Arifins who followed on the Sirat al-Mustaqim with the firm feet and full faith. That is the prayer that we pray every single day. And what do we say? The path of those you have blessed, not those, the one you have displeased, you are displeased with, and not of those who have gone astray. That shows there are three sets of followers, humans, believers at one time or the other. Those who are chosen and blessed because they remain on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And that is the path we want to follow upon, along the side of the Mu'mineen, along the side of the Aimay Tyreen. And we do not want it to deviate and take the path of the others. So the one path which is short, Sirat al-Mustaqim, that as we wanted to follow upon. Now this path, initially it feels like it's on a linear line, moving forward day by day from Shariat to Tariqat to Haqiqat, and inshallah one day into the marifat. But also this path is like a stairs with the rope hanging, guiding us. And if we hold tight to the rope, it will pull us toward and closer to Him. The Faramain of the Imams have emphasized on this fact. What is the reason that we are talking about this in 2025, where I don't believe there is anyone on this line who are not true followers, true murid of the Imam Zaman? Then why are we talking about this? Why are we learning this? Is more for our family, is more for our children, but we cannot help them until we ourselves, not only by the faith, but also intellectually and logically understand Sirat al-Mustaqim. Over 125 years ago, Imam had given this farman. Teach your children religious books from a young age and encourage them to attend Jamatkhana regularly. Foster courage and walk on the path, Sirat al-Mustaqim, path of the faith. Preserve my watchful words. Remember and hold tight to the farman of the Imam in your hearts and lock them safe within. This farman was by Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, Salawatullah alayhi. May our soul be sacrificed to their Imam back in 1903. When Imam tells us to send our children to school and teach them and make sure that they are good in education, we follow that farman, send our children to schools, colleges, and even we help them with any and every possible extra curriculum and tools to make sure they succeed in their physical but very temporary life. In the same token, in the other hand, gave us the farman to hand the books, the religious book, in the hands of our children. I truly believe in self-reflection. Go look around in your home, in your children's room, and see how many religious books do you find in their room compared to their school books, their story books, their games, their phone, mobile, iPad, laptop, computers. Then we ask question, how come my children are not understanding our tariqah? The question should be, did I follow the farman of the Imam? And did I put my children on the right path by giving them the books of our religion equal to other books that they needed to succeed in life. Education is very, very, very important. A passport to the world. But at the same time, religious education and understanding is the passport to hereafter. Don't shortchange your children, your grandchildren. You have the opportunity when they are young. When you tell them stories about our religion, about our Imam, about the previous Imam, about our peers, about our dais. There is no shortage of this, which will bring the love in their heart for our tariqah, for our dais, our peers, our Imam, our Pegambar, about the Quran. There are thousands and thousands of stories that you can tell. Instead of those stories which they will learn in their schools outside, and they don't need your help for that. They will learn that. Teach them your language, your tariqah, your satpandin. Tell them about your Imam. Bring the love in their heart. Another farman of the Shah Karim al-Hussaini Hazar Imam, Mafi Shah Rahim al-Hussaini Hazar Imam, just few months back. And that was literally July 13th. 6-7 weeks ago. During the Didar of the Paris, Mullah says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Reflecting back what Sultan Muhammad Shah has said, our 40th Imam was a great lover of books. He was also an author. And so it is a tradition of ours to read. But the science today also tells us that reading books leads to empathy. And I deeply believe that in the future of the artificial intelligence, empathy will be a unique quality for those who know how to develop it. Remind me, and I will explain this part. And our community is empathetic. Reading will ascend this empathy, and it will be a rare quality in the future. So pick up books, read books, get into the habit of reading. It is something that is really fundamental for us. Build good habits at this stage of your life, and they will serve you for many, many decades ahead, inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. What does a book do? A physical, literal book in our hand. What does it do? When you have something that you can touch, feel, highlight your favorite quotes, portion of the stories, understanding of the one thing or the other. When you read about our dais or about other mu'mineen, it brings their emotion, a personal feeling in your heart. On the other hand, when you are reading about something outside of it, or when you're playing a game on your screen, and especially those games where they are shooting and killing each other, you feel that life does not matter. Human does not matter. People does not matter. And then on top of that, when you see in your own surrounding, in your own Jamaat, where people are backbiting and talking bad about each other, when they are fighting amongst themselves, children learn all of that from their parents, from their families, from their Jamaat. They are like a sponge. They observe all of that. Whereas books, good habits taught by the families, parents, grandparents, will bring a soft corner in their heart for the humans, for the life itself, for the Jamaat. Instead of backbiting, how about you talk good about Jamaat? Instead of gossiping, how about you tell good stories? Or give them the books. There is no shortage of the books in many languages, English, Urdu, Gujarati, whatever your language may be. There are many books available. And grandparents and older parents have a duty. Instead of telling them something which is have no value, tell them the stories of our Jamaat, of our Imams, our Dais, our Peers, other Mu'mineen, how they serve the Imam. Just so much to tell and so much to share. So that was the Farman. We still have two more things. And remember, I have one question which I received at the end yesterday, and I will answer there here in our second subject. Rope of God. So first, let me read this ayat. And we already understand yesterday, the rope symbolize the guidance. So, Surah 3, Surah Al Imran, ayat number 101 and 103. Whoever holds fast to Allah certainly be guided to the straight path. Hold fast together to the rope of Allah and be not be divided. So two things here. How do we hold fast to Allah? And who is that rope that Allah wants us to hold fast to? And second, why not just hold to rope? Why do we have to hold the rope fast? To ensure that we don't lose that rope. And those who did not hold fast to this rope, what happened? Let's go back and learn from the history. Many friends sometimes ask a question. How come Imam does not give us, Quran does not give us clear language, clear guidance, open vocabulary. Just tell us what to do. Don't give us symbols. Don't beat around the bush. Just tell us what to do and we will do it. So I want to tell and remind our friends, the listeners. True that Quran talks in symbols, allegories. Imam also talks in symbols and allegories in Farami. But then we do remember where Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam openly and clearly, no symbols, no allegories, direct command, farman, guidance to the Jamaat of the time. Then whomever I am Mola, Ali is your Mola. Openly, 10,000 plus Jamaat present, no question, no doubt. Many did the bayat, accepted and said labbaik. Right? There was no ambiguities, no he said, she said. Open farman, 10,000 people. Within 3 weeks of that farman, Mullah Ali could not find 40 believers to follow him. Out of 10,000, he could not count and find 40 Muslims to follow him. So this argument, then why Allah always giving symbols and talks in allegories? Why can he not just be straightforward with us? Let me give you another example. When the Mu'mineen or the people of the time demanded that if you are true Rasul-e-Khuda, then show us a miracle. And who did more miracles than Hazrat Musa? Hazrat Musa, is there any other prophet in our history who had done more miracles? We don't find it. Then tell me or ask yourself, after each miracle, how many disbelievers became believers? And I can almost guarantee you, you will not find a single one. You will not find a single soul that became believers after the miracles. Those who believed him through his ilm and iman. And those who did not believe, even after the miracles, did not believe. Did not believe. So that tells us that Allah has a certain way to talk and to guide. And those who believe, believe. And those who are blinded themselves, even if it's in front of them, they will not believe. So rope, a symbol of guidance and symbol of the guide. Hold tight to the guidance and the guide, the Imam, and do not be divided. and hold fast to Allah. He is your protector. What an excellent protector. What an excellent helper he is. That when he found you divided, he sent you a guide to collect you, hold you together. But then it was up to you to be guided and to hold fast to the rope and stay on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So if you look at these two ayats on top, that whoever holds fast to Allah will certainly be guided to the straight path, Sirat al-Mustaqim, Imam Zaman. Hold fast together. Now we are talking about all of the Jamaat as one Jamaat must hold tight to the guidance, the Imam of the time, which is the rope of Allah, and do not be divided. Because if you hold fast to him, then his promise is to protect you. And who is the best protector than him? And he will help you. And where would you find a better helper than thee? Now, about the pathway and the steps. So the question yesterday came and I said I will answer it tomorrow because this was part of our curriculum. Then I said, Imam is the Sirat al-Mustaqim, a straight path. So walk along him on this path. Imam is the rope, the guidance, which has been sent to you by Allah. So hold tight to it. But how do we understand Imam is the ladder, staircase? If you all remember the chart of Hudud-e-Din, and if I would ask you, many of you would be able to raise hand and tell me that in the Hudud-e-Din, Imam's number is number 8, and Aliya Murtaza's number is number 9, meaning on the ladder of 1 through 12, 8 and 9 stands for Hazar Imam and Mola Ali. Then how do we understand he is also the staircase? Imam encompasses all things. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَسْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. I have encompassed everything in Imam Mubin. All of the lower ranks and all of the higher ranks. Let's start from the top. Imam Zaman holds Aklekul, Nafsekul, Natik, and Asas, ilm-wise and soul-wise, intellectually and spiritually. He holds all of this above. Ilm of Aklekul and the soul of Nafsekul. The Shariat of the Natikin and Tawilat of the Asas. All is encompassed by the promise of Allah in the Imam Mubin. All rolled into one. Just like that, Imam also holds all of the lower ranks. So coming from the Imam, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The Hujjat-e-Azam, Dayan, Mazuns, and Mustajib. As we are all encompassed in the Imam-e-Zaman, regardless of where we stand, as Wakulle Shaheen. In other words, Imam is our higher I. And we are at the lower end. Imam is Akle Kul and we are Juz. Imam is the higher I and we are lower. But we are all encompassed in the Imam-e-Zaman. So Imam-e-Zaman holds not only a line, Sirat al-Mustaqim, within him, he also holds the guidance by the Amr-e Ilahi within him. And he sends down the rope to guide you, so he may pull you rank by rank on the steps. So let's look at these two ayat now. The heavens full of paths, and by the heavens full of paths, surely you are lost in conflicting views regarding the truth. A negative ayat. So how do we understand? And how does this apply to you and me? Those who read the Quran without the nur, the light, and the guidance of the Imam Zaman, when they read this ayat, they truly believe in their heart that in the heavens there are many, many pathways, but they don't know how, what those pathways look like. And their nazariyat, their beliefs, their asulat, their principles, they are in conflict. They are having conflict view regarding the truth. So let me show you this ayat in the Imam Zaman. By the Imam who is full of paths, surely you know that darja by darja, rank by rank, you can reach to the truth. Take your first step in the Imam Zaman by putting your first foot on the ladder of hierarchy of religion, Hudud-e-Din. Become mustajib from the Mu'min. As the Mu'min have the faith, but the mustajib is that humble Mu'min that says, I need to know more. I wanted to come closer to the light, to the truth, to the nur, to the Imam, to the Allah Himself. So take that first step. As Imam is full of paths, take the path of Mustajib. Take the path of Mazun. Take the path of Dai. Take the path of Peers, Hujatan, Aimai Tyreen, Pegambers, Rasuls, Prophets, Awliya, Ambiya, Arifin. Take the path. Choose your path carefully and start to ascend toward the one who is above all else. Imam generously and faithfully have been guiding us. Everything I am telling you today, there is nothing new there. Only thing new is that we have brought all of those farman, which was given to us in symbols and allegories. We have brought it to a platform to make it easier for the friends, for the Jamaat to understand. Is there anyone who will take this and follow upon and start to climb this ladder and come closer and closer to the Noor-e-Ali, as he is the Lord of ascending steps? Surah 70, Surah Marij, Ayat 3 and 4. From Allah, the Lord of the ascending steps, by which the angels, like yourself, and the Spirit ascending, all the other souls, to him in one day, the duration of which is 50,000 years. Let me explain this ayat. If you remember that clock that we have used many times, and I have half of that picture here on the page number 1. If you look at this clock over here, you will see there is a journey. And what do you see here? You can take a 50,000 year journey on this long path, one in the blue with the arrow right here. Or you can take a shortcut, a straight path from the dunya to the akhirat. As Noor has come to you, the Hidayat have come to you, you can catch that rope and take this 6 to 12 journey straight to the Wakulla Shaheen. Or you can take the journey of the 50,000 years. But I can guarantee you one thing, willing or unwillingly, everyone shall and must return back to where they have come from. If everything is in Imam-e-Mubin, then you have come from Imam and you shall return back to Imam. Willingly or unwillingly, knowingly or unknowingly, happily or unhappily, you must return back to him. You can take 50,000 years, or you can take one lifetime. That is your free will, and that remains with you. You choose your path. So whose path is this? You see, Quran guides us again and again. Imam have given us Farman again and again. It is up to us to follow on those Kinans, Faramin, Quran, and the Hidayat within. So whose path is? Say, as for me, my Lord has guided me to a straight path, the straight religion, the of Father Ibrahim, who was upright and was not of those who associate partners with Allah. We believe in one Noor, following on the footstep and the same Sirat Hakim as Hazrat Ibrahim through Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa and Mawla Ali, Nuran Allah Noor, Shah Rahim Al Husseini Hazar Imam today. And we hold no one next to him. We take his authority as absolute authority. The Noor-e Khudawandi, the Amre Ilahi. Who accepts this path? This is the path of your Lord, the straight path. We have made our sign clear for people who pay attention. And those who are not paying attention, they are conflicted and they are lost. So Allah said, this is the path of your Lord, a straight path. And we have made our ayat, our signs, clear for the people. Only if you would pay attention, then you will see it clearly. Further down in the same surah, Allah warns the people. This is my way, that which is straight, follow it, then, and do not follow others' path as they scatter you from this path. This is what He has commanded upon you, so that you may beware. Warning: follow on my straight path, and do not follow on other path, because they have gone astray. They will scatter you. They will divide you from this path. That is the Amre Ilahi commanded upon you. So beware of that. होशियार हो जाओ, समझ जाओ. How do we do that? Stay with those who have stayed on the straight path, Sirat al-Mustaqim. Therefore, stand firm on the Sirat al-Mustaqim as He has commanded, and stay with those who turn unto Allah and transgress not from the Sirat al-Mustaqim, for He see all you do. Remember that. And I hope you are writing all these Quranic references. And if you need, I can scroll back and forward so you can catch all of the references. This one was in Surah 11, ayat number 112. Farman Mubarak, with which we will end our session for the day. Inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Shah Karim Al Husseini, London, 1994. And remain strong and loyal to the practice of the faith. It is a faith of conviction. It must be a faith of conviction, not a faith of convenience, and has occurred in some other faiths in other parts of the world. And it is a faith of conviction, not only of the heart, but of the soul and of the intellect. It is a faith of conviction, of intellect, and of the ethics. Further down, in 2000, Karachi, Pakistan, Shah Karim says, it is important that you seek from the Imam direction for your future, that the Imam should express to you his thoughts and recommendations as to the way in which you should be looking to develop your lives today and for the future. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So with that, we stop. So now if you have any comments, any question, and I'm bringing all these Quranic references, so you can take good notes of it. G.
Thank you, Azizer. That was, as always, wonderful. I think today there was quite a few, or a couple at least, interesting tawili explanations of some of these verses that might have been mentioned in the past but not really gone into. So I think there was a really interesting aspect today of revealing a little bit deeper secrets or deeper tawili wisdoms. So thank you for sharing that.
Shukran.
I hope my voice is audible clearly because my computer fan decided to turn on when you started reading the Furman. I think it was feeling some of the inspiration, the pressure and the heat, and being invigorated. So my computer fan is a little bit louder than normal. Inshallah, it won't be a problem for the recording.
Inshallah.
So we have the Q&A open. Please, members, feel free to type your questions or thoughts, things you liked, things you didn't understand, something that kind of maybe jarred you, so we can have some discussion.
Right. So the friend that has asked the question about the staircase and how do we understand the ladder with the Imam, I believe I explained it completely. But if you still think there is a question remains, please do ask because I see you online. So you could ask if you wish. G.
Okay, I do see we have a raised hand. Before we get there, I think I'll take a second to offer a thought of mine during this session. As you mentioned Surah 3, Ayah 103, I believe, about holding fast to the rope of Allah, and also 101 about holding fast to Allah, which we know now that 3103 gives the answer or gives the more detail or the future reference of how to hold properly to Allah. And I say future reference because as I was digging a little bit, I find some interesting examples here. And I know you've said that when we see Quranic ayat, we should try to always look one or two above and maybe one underneath. So I was looking at Surah 3, Ayah 100 first, so before 101, where it mentions, O you who believe, if you obey a group of those who have received the book, they will surely make you disbelievers after you believed. And then 3101 comes and it says to hold fast to God, hold fast to Allah, and you will be certainly will be guided to the straight path. Now, interestingly, the very next verse when you continue on with 3101, the same verse says, and how could you disbelieve? God is asking, how is it even possible? How could you disbelieve? While to you are being recited the verses of Allah, and among you is his messenger. And then it says, and whoever holds firmly to God has been guided to the straight path. I think there's so many interesting things there that God is mentioning that it's almost, how could you disbelieve when the messenger was with you? And ends by saying to hold on to God to be guided to that straight path. So there's no mention of the rope there in that particular verse of 3101. But we don't need a mention of the rope because we have God is saying, how could you? It's impossible. There's no rope, but there is the messenger. He is the rope, is what I'm trying to say. And then that's why just two verses later, it continues that, so, oh, you who have believed, in 3103, that hold fast altogether to the rope of Allah and do not become divided. And remember Allah's favor upon you. And I was just thinking all those concepts we've heard, that why would one community be favored over another? Why would one time period have the presence of the messenger such that God could say that, how could you disbelieve? You know, you're receiving the ayat, the signs of God. You have the messenger. So hold fast to Allah. You'll be guided. And then, of course, just a couple of verses later, it gives the detail about hold fast to the rope of Allah, telling us that that same favor of divine guidance will never be discontinued because it's a rope that continues on and on. So I thought that was an interesting way to look at the verses.
Subhanallah, subhanallah.
Okay, I normally take the questions first in the chat, but since someone has their hand raised for a while now, let me go ahead and ask Iqbal if you want to go ahead and unmute, please.
Thank you, Khayal Yalimat Azizba.
Ya Ali Madad.
So I don't have a question, but just a comment, something that struck as you were going through explaining to us. And if you don't mind, you had put on the screen there Maulana Sharif's Paris Farman, July 13th. If you can bring that up, because something struck to me as you were reading that, and as I was trying to understand it, right there. It says, get in, it's at the bottom there, it says, get into the habit of reading. It says, so here he's referring to reading, and then he goes on to say, it is something that is really fundamental for us. So the term here is just really fundamental. So that struck something in my mind where I had listened similar words that Shah Karim had told us, and it was in the dua book where I first time read quite a while. It says, try to understand the meaning of the dua because it is fundamental for the future of the Jamaat. So those two lines struck me, and I says, Mola is repeating something, but here is in light of reading, whereas Shah Karim was saying in light of understanding the meanings of dua.
Subhanallah, subhanallah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great connection. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on. Shiraz, your hand is raised as well if you'd like to unmute.
Ali Mazad Aziz Bhai,
Yeah, Ali Madad.
it's the same format that I want to actually go through, where it says in some area, I deeply believe in the future. In the future, the artificial intelligence empathy will be a unique quality for those who know how to develop it. And in our community is empathetic. So can you elaborate on that? Because that's not very clear.
Ji.
What he's trying to say.
Right. Because if you look within our Jamaat and the practice of our Jamaat as a whole, especially the practice of the Imams. So what is Imam doing through AKDN, through AKF, through hospitals, through schools? Does Imam work exclusively for a small group of people within the community, or does he open this for everyone in their community, in their town, in their city, in their country? Feeling for others is very, very important. And it used to be a norm amongst the humanity, but now it is a very rare quality amongst the humanity. Maru maru kari ne jivan nikdi gyo. Now is everything about me and mine. People do not want to share. They don't feel for the others. Where our community has a unique way of showing the soft heart toward the community, toward the others. And what I'm saying, it is very important and it's going to be a unique quality. So how do you develop this empathy toward others? How do you do it? When you know about the others, when you read the books, and when you know your history, when you know about the others. Because you cannot, in the word of Shah Karim, put your head in the sand and say, everything is okay. You just cannot do that. You must open your eyes and say, my community need my help. That feeling is a learned skill. And how do you do that? By learning from your history, watching your community, and especially watching the Imam al-Zaman and see how he works. So what does Shah Rahim in this short period of time have done so far? Let's look at two examples. Example of Syria. Why we want to invest millions of dollars, $200 million How many Ismailis are living in Syria? Not very many. $200 million. That is more than 1 million each Ismaili that lives in Syria. You see that? Empathy for the community. Secondly, recently, as all of you probably already know, there has been a great flood from all the way to the upper northern part of Pakistan, all the way down to Karachi. And Imam again have assured the country and the leadership that focus, AKDN, and RSP, the rural development, are already on ground with our own money and our commitment to the people and the community around us. G.
Yeah, further down, I think there is one of the ayat which talks about negative.
G.
But I didn't quite follow what you were trying to say there.
So let me make that a positive ayat, okay? So this ayat I did, by the heavens full of path, surely you are lost in conflicted regarding the truth. So from the negative. Let me give an example first. If you do bad, you will go to hell. How do you learn from this statement? If you do good, you will go to heaven. You see how simple that is? So sometimes the teaching is given in negative way. So here, Allah says that there are paths within the heaven. So let's make this ayat a positive ayat. By the Imam, who is full of darjat, paths. Surely, if you are not lost, and if you don't have the conflicted view, then you know the truth. This is how you do it. G.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. As you said, I've always, since we heard this from about reading and empathy, I also was curious to find out more about what is the connection between reading, especially reading books, like the Imam says, and empathy. And if one just searches online, they can find, you just have to type in science, it says reading books develops empathy, and you'll come across, articles and information about how when one reads books, it helps to transport the reader and that feeling that you're getting because you get absorbed in that work in the book. Even and many books can do this, and I'm going to come back to this point, but and Imam said reading what in the Farman said whatever you like, whatever interests you. It could be fiction, nature, art, but something that you get absorbed in, and you learn about an artist, and you spend time dedicated to reading about that art, that particular artist, if that's what interests you, or reading a topic, and there's a transformation that occurs there. And I was thinking, how does this relate to our tariqah? And of course, we cannot say that the Imam only wants us to read non-religious books. We have many, many books. As an example, even if we read, the IIS has published the biography of Muhammad Fidin al-Shirazi. It's like the memoirs of a mission. And you learn about his life and learn about the challenges he faced, even from in the community, or you learn about the travels of Fir Nasser Khusro. But the point is, why a book? And I was thinking about the Imam is making a commentary here, perhaps, that unfortunately it's been said sometimes that online communication, online platforms, sometimes unfortunately brings out the worst in people because there's a feeling of a disconnect between you and maybe someone else you're speaking to. If there's people in a group setting this discussion, but sometimes there's because you're hiding behind a screen and you forget that these are people on the other side. And these type of things sometimes unfortunately brings out either the worst because people fight about things or disagree, or we're looking for very quick answers. We just want to get like the headline. Whereas a book, you have to spend time in it. You have to read. It shapes you. It transforms you as you're reading. So I think Imam is telling us also that don't fall for the shallow reading that just quickly message after message after message, or message board, or study group. Some groups out there where there might just be, give me the quick answer. And AI sometimes is like this as well. Not to knock artificial intelligence, but people are looking for the quick answers rather than taking the time to truly get transformed from within. And of course, we should apply that to all the great literature we have, the smiley religious literature we have, that we should be reading carefully and investing time into it. So that was my thought about the Firman.
Right. So what this internet have done, especially the cell phone technology, that the world have come very, very close, but at the same time, very, very disconnected emotionally, spiritually from each other. And Shah Karim have talked about, and I just paraphrase, I don't remember the exact word, the cell phone had brought us closer than ever before, but at the same time, we are feeling very much disconnected from the other. I'm just paraphrasing. Shah Karim had talked about that in one of his speech. G.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Karima, go ahead and unmute, please.
Yeah, so I also picked up on the empathy piece, and I was wondering about a slightly different connection. Is there a connection between empathy and being able to recognize and follow the path? I suppose in a way there is, because if you have the empathy and you are more connected, you're more likely to see what more clearly what is being what is there to see in terms of being in our tariqa and being on our path. I don't know. I'm just wondering about that connection.
Right. So, a human soul goes through the 3 stages where he becomes a complete human. So initially, we feel that whatever we feel, whatever hurt we feel, whatever happiness we feel, is solely and exclusively is for me and myself. Then we realize when we get to the second stage of the human soul that whatever I feel, the hurt wise or the happiness wise, it is equally same for my family, my friend, and for my Jamaat. And then much, much, much later on, if one is lucky, he gets to the third stage of humanity, where he says, whatever is good for me is good for all, and whatever is not good for me is not good for the entire humanity. Sympathy and empathy. Sometimes we show sympathy, but then we don't do anything about it. For example, you know how we say, a lot of people just talk the talk, but they never walk the talk. So I remember there was some argument among some of our friends online regarding one particular place where there is a great war and a lot of people have been killed. So they were showing sympathy toward them. When asked, if you really feel that bad, how come you don't give your time, your money, and why don't you physically go there and help them? They will never do that, ever, because there is no connection. There is no empathy. It's just a sympathy. Meaning you feel bad for them, but when it comes to you, you don't want to give anything. And the talk was, the reason that I asked was, why doesn't he do this? Why doesn't they do this? Why doesn't Imam do this? So they were blaming anybody and everybody except themselves. So now, what does book do for us? If we read a book, a physical book in our hand, one thing that happens compared to a e-book, when you have a book in your hand, the book becomes your friend. Instant connection between you and that book. Now, whatever is in that book, you are living that life. You are living that life. And because of that spiritual connection, that you are able to develop that habit of feeling for others like it was you that was going through it. Whereas here, it becomes really hard. You know, ebooks are good if you don't have a physical book. And this is a new mode of reading, which is fine. It's better than not reading. You read on the phone. But if you have a choice to take the book in your hand, it gives you that instant friend in the book, an instant connection spiritually to whatever you are reading in that book. Meaning you will find yourself in the history and you will find yourself with that person that you are reading about. G.
Thank you, Sister. I don't mean to keep on harping on this, but I think it has to be stressed. And I'm really, really happy that you put the two Framans side by side, because in that same paragraph that the Imam here is talking about books, he started by saying about mentioning indication towards 48th Imam, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah alayhi salam, and mentioned that he himself was an author, kind of perhaps telling us that, the Furman, of course, speaks at different levels. It covers everybody in the Jamaat. So if we're speaking strictly on the secular or human development, emotional, all that is being mentioned here, how science tells us what actually spending time in reading a book, of course, preferably a physical book. If not, even then, reading an ebook or book is better than just flipping through, forwards and WhatsApp messages and whatnot. You're actually reading something, you're immersing yourself in a text, it's transforming you. So I think that's important that Imam speaks at that level for everybody. But of course, there's a connection to the religion, because he mentions Imam's name. He mentions he's an author, which tells us, is he telling us to perhaps don't forget about the memoirs of Aga Khan, which is a perfect example of putting yourself or learning from somebody, their experiences in life. And there's so many gems hidden in that book as well. So I think Imam is giving us all this indication. And I'm so happy you put the Furman side by side, because he mentions Imam as a lover of books, a great lover of books. And then Imam himself has said, the same Imam who loves the lover of books, teach children religious books. So which books does the Imam also love? It's very, very important. And I'm glad you put it together like that. It's a very good way for us to remember. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. There's a question about the 50,000 years. Does it mean that this path would have about 100 years in physical life and 49,900 years in the soul life to reach the destination? Is that the meaning? 100 years lagbag on this world, in this side, and 49,900 years in the soul life to reach the destination?
I hope none of us is taking that path. I hope none of us are taking that path. But yes, that is exactly what it means. That if we don't do anything for our soul, but the one thing which is guaranteed, that you must go back to where you have come from. And that journey is a long, long, long journey. So if you waste this 100 years, then the chance of getting there within that 100 years, you have lost and gone. And definitely you're right. It is a 50,000 year journey after that. Long way. And I hope none of the murid. Where this hope come from? Because Imam have said, I do not wish any of my murid to die sinfully. So inshallah, our journey will be much, much shorter, much, much shorter, or hardly any, if we have stayed on the Sirat al-Mustaqim and follow on the farman of the Imam of the time. G.
Thank you, Aziz sir. Let me push you a little bit further on that. What is unique about physical existence compared to the soul's existence without this physical body that makes the journey quicker, or that we can develop more in this lifetime compared to, let's say, the afterlife?
So let me bring you to this clock again, our favorite clock. So if you look at this one, there is a two path, a straight path. Due to the free will that you have, you can choose to take one path or the other. And in this physical world, if you do one, your rewards are multiplied by, let's say, 100,000. Because living in this world and you have chose to pay attention to the other. So rewards are multiplied. It's like winning a lotto. So we have won the lotto. To cash the ticket or not, that is entirely up to us. So if we don't cash that ticket, then to earn the equivalent to the lotto ticket will take you 50,000 years, because without the free will, when you have to walk on that path, it's a very, very slow path. Meaning every step equals to one step. Whereas in this world, by the free will, every step is equal to 100,000 steps. So you can take the journey, a shortcut, as you can see, from 6 to 12, or you can take the 5 or 50,000 year journey, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 year journey to become one with the Imam. This is the path right here. G.
So then that would mean that we should all be looking at this physical existence of ours as the greatest blessing, or such
Absolutely.
a great time to potentially to be able to do the work we have to do now, today, not wait for the tomorrow or the next life.
Right.
Okay, I do. There's a lot of comments. There's like some a little bit long comments in the chat. It's a little bit too long to read out, but whoever's interested, look at the chat. There are some nice comments in there. I'll mention one of them because maybe you want to make a point about this as well. That someone had correctly noted that the Quranic ayat says to hold fast to the rope of God, meaning that don't just hold on, I guess, lightly or nominally, but we should be holding this in a very particular manner. Perhaps maybe you want to say something about that as well?
Right. So, yesterday we were giving example of an iron rod. Why not use a solid piece of rod as an example? The problem with the iron rod would be even solid, but easily able to lose the grip of an iron rod. Whereas the rope, so let me show you the rope a little bit further. You see this rope, how there are notches and knots in it? So first of all, if you are holding tight to it, it would be hard for you to lose the grip. Second, what does rope do? Rope can tie you with the holder of the rope. So let's say Imam is the holder of the rope. He can tie you with that rope. Or you can take that rope and tie around yourself. And he can pull you, but while he's pulling you, he's telling you, hold tight to it. Because if you don't, even though I'm pulling you, if you lose your grip, you will fall back into the on the earth, on the bottom, in the well. So rope gives you that flexibility, or rope gives you that illusion how you can hold tight to, because rope itself is made of many, many small ropes, meaning Imam is guiding you in with many small ropes, guidance upon guidance upon guidance upon guidance. He's throwing you rope upon rope upon rope. Take all of this guidance and make a strong rope, and then hold on to that. Tie around yourself. Let him pull you up. So rope and holding tight to it is so important. And the rope gives you the capability to do so because the way it is made. And the symbolism in the rope itself is it made of many more ropes. Meaning, rope is a guidance and many guidance. Together makes a big rope. G.
Thank you, Aziz sir. I think there's only one final question here about if there are, do you know of any books for children ages 3 and younger?
And English or Urdu?
The question was asked in English, but I guess maybe English or maybe it could be either or.
So if you are from Pakistan, India, there are literally religious stores where you can buy. And I remember I had brought for a family, I had brought for my children, of course, but also for some families in Dallas when I had gone to Pakistan one time, and they had 3 small little angels, and they asked me to bring some books. So bring the books which are written about our prophets, our imams, about our hujjatan. Try to find as close to the imam's guidance, meaning Shia book, than a Sunni book. But even if you don't find a Shia book, then buy the Sunni book of the time of Prophet Muhammad, time of Mullah Ali, and all the wars that we had fought to hold Islam strong. There are literally, I mean, I bought, I don't know, let's say a dozen or two. There were hundreds of books that I could not. So one of my favorite book was there was a collection of book of prophets from Adam to Khatam. There were 12 or so books in one set. And it started from Adam, talked about Hazrat Noah, it talked about Hazrat Ibrahim, Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Idris, Hazrat Yaqub, Hazrat Sulaiman, Hazrat Musa, Hazrat Isa. There were like a collection of 12 or more books. Buy those collection for your children. And they were available in English and Urdu both. G.
Thank you, Aziz sir. And I'm sure because if we're talking about very little young children who are not reading the book themselves, if the parent is reading, that would give opportunity here and there to insert a line or a two about the Imam of the time or the concept of Hazrat Ali. Even if it's not written in the book, the child won't know. You'll be reading the story of Prophet Muhammad, and if you slip in a couple of lines about Ali here and there, I mean, the child's not going to say, "Let me see that page," but depending on how old they are. But that gives opportunity, and sometimes we don't even know that. We might think we don't know enough, but we do know things. And given the opportunity sometimes, because you're reading and explaining, that truth will come, or those words will come, inshallah, on the tongue, and you'll say the right sentence. And sometimes it's just a matter of that connection. I'm sure you've mentioned this many times, that feeling that there's a reading going on or a connection between the parents and the child. And it's a great opportunity to mention a line or two about Jamatkhana sometimes, or just like that, the stories of the Prophet. What we have today, that's why we have the guidance of the Imam, and that's the way to insert our own teachings into the book when we're reading it to the child.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, not just to read a book, but transfer the feelings, your love, your prayers into the book. Because in books, when there is a prayer, you insert your emotional, your love and prayer in it. When it's the storytelling, you can also tell your story, your parents, your grandparents' stories, to connect with your children. to make them feel, a lot of children these days are disconnected from their grandparents. You know why? Because we never tell them the story of our forefathers. Give them that knowledge, give them that, transfer their feeling, so they may love you, your parents, and their parents, and their forefathers. They should know about our history, where we have come from. Good story, tell them good story. Also give them some bad stories, meaning how hardship, what kind of troubles that you have taken to come to different countries, and how did you migrate, how your parents had to migrate from Pakistan to Africa, and all of that. Transfer that feeling into them. Tell them these stories. G.
Okay, we do have one raised hand, and I guess we'll make this the last one.
Yes.
So 1951 313, please go ahead and unmute. (1951 313).
Maybe she raised the hand by mistake.
Maybe. Let's try one more time here. Ask to unmute. You should have a message on the screen to unmute if you'd like to speak. But if not, then there we go.
Yeah. Yali Madad Aziz Bhai.
Yali Madad.
This is referring to the rope of God, and due to this due to the screenshot, I was able to follow what Khayal had referred in the Quran to read from, that he read from ayat 101, and he started with saying, reading that from ayat 100 to the following. I read this thing, reading. So I was able to follow the Khayal's recitation about it, and thank you, Khayal, for it made my task easy to follow it. I just wanted to just say thank you, or Aziz Bhai. Due to the screenshot, I was able to do this.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Aziz Bhai, and thank you, Khayal. Mola seva kabul kare aapki.
So this will be it, Khayal?
Yep, until next weekend. And in between, inshallah, we can continue.
So let me give a good tidings, good news. Inshallah, with the request, we will be taking this subject and the chapter of Adam, which is a long, long chapter, but amazing, amazing chapter. So next week, we will start with the chapter of Adam.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad Aziz Bhai. Mola aapki seva kabul kare, Mola Khayal ki bhi seva kabul kare, and the participants too.
Ameen. Yali Madad. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, everybody.
Thank you, and Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.